Hey YouTube, it's your girl Chic from Chic Speaks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. We have some things to talk about, and we're gonna start with our rapper friend Nelly. Nelly was recently arrested, and I want to get into the circumstances around his arrest because it's quite interesting. It just new things keep coming out, and the latest thing that has come out is that they they arrested that man after he won $50,000 y'all on them slot machines. So they're like, listen, that was with it to collect, and they were like, no sir, you cannot pass go. So we're going to get into some things and just talk about the circumstances surrounding that arrest. Hey Yaman, welcome, thank you. Please watch the likes for me, please, as usual. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We got some things to get into. So the latest I heard, child, they like that man won 50,000. He be cleaning up on them slot machines. And when he went to collect his money, they were like, we need to do a background check. And so he's like, normally that's not part. He's won plenty of times. I guess the casinos is his thing, his casino. So, this time when he won, they wanted to have his ID checked. Hey, Kareen. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining, child. Listen, we're going to get into all things Nelly, and I may end up dropping the link to let you all come up. If anybody want to come up and chime in and add anything, Kareen, you know how I used to do, get all up into these celebrities business. So to listen, this today gonna be like a flashback from back when I used to be out here just talking about these celebrities. That's for the most part how I started on YouTube, was just talking about the celebrities. So today, yes, we're gonna talk about Nelly, the arrest, his current relationship with singer Ashanti, their newlyweds. From what I've learned, they got married like last December, and then they had a beautiful baby boy on July 30th of 2024. So when I did the calculations, let me see where my calculator at. When I pulled out my calculator, I calculated that the baby is only 3 weeks old. So given the fact that daddy out in the casino at the casinos at 4:45 in the morning with a 3 week old baby, I kind of like side eyed that because I'm like, okay, why are we outside at 4:45 in the morning when we got a new wife and baby at home? So I want to uncover some things. Y'all, people going as far as to a question of whether or not Nelly needs to fall in the dust category. They're like, okay, Nelly's a dusty, and here's why. Here's why. I never liked him with Ashanti to begin with. So like now, this is the reason why I am not surprised. I want to talk about it. I want to know, are you surprised at what you're seeing? Or did you think the Nelly, listen, he removed a band-aid from his face, so he turned a new leaf. All he had to do was take the band-aid off and then turn it and morph into somebody else. So I know for me, when I learned that they were dating and they were trying to rekindle some things, I kind of side-eyed it. I wasn't really here for it. I was one of those because I don't know, I just didn't like how they were together for so long. I think maybe almost 10 years, and it didn't morph into anything. And then he got with another woman, Miss Jackson, and then he had her for about another 7 years, and that didn't turn. So I'm like, okay, is this man out here just sucking up the youthfulness and the energy of women, not just black women? Miss Jackson, I don't know what the hell she is, but just beautiful women. They both do have that in common. Jennifer Bibby. Hey, OMG, didn't know she had the baby. Yep. A lot of people, when I mentioned it on my last live, they didn't know the baby was born. I remember seeing an announcement when the baby was born, but I never heard anything more after that. So when I was researching, I did confirm the baby was born July 20th. And it's a boy. I haven't learned as far as his name. I don't know what the baby's name is. I just know it was a boy, and it said it was like a long labor. So it was one of those situations to where like it was so she did a natural childbirth, and listen, it was long. So no, you can't be playing around when you got somebody bringing whole lives into this world for you. And it's all kinds of, hills and valleys that's going through that process. So I wanted to know what it was like at the house after all this went down. Was he like, maybe I might want to stay away, for the rest of the night? Because imagine, what that energy gonna be like going home after that happened. So that's why it's so many layers, because he has an attorney and they like, listen, we want to, I don't know, they might put together a lawsuit. I don't know. We're going to get into the latest. I came across an article from TMZ that I'm going to share. I'm going to share this article that I found from TMZ where they got some inside information pertaining to the situation. So let me make sure you guys can see my screen. And yeah, we're going to get into y'all know TMZ. It's almost like they their own site. You can't tell them that they don't know what the hell going on. So let's see what TMZ has said. So this is an update from today, as early as 1:00 a.m. Pacific time. It says, Nelly, I still got my $50,000 despite casino drug bust. So this man was like, okay, whatever, but I got my money. I got $50,000. Okay. Nelly's arrest in a Missouri casino didn't stop him from cashing in his big win from a slot machine. We're told the rapper walked away with a hefty chunk of change. The hitmaker's attorney, Scott Rosenblum, y'all, I looked up him. We're going to go and look at him, who he is, because he keeps this man working, tells TMZ his client did collect his money from a $50,000 jackpot on the slot machine Wednesday morning at the Hollywood Casino in St. Charles, Missouri. That's the good news to go with Nelly's bad news. As we reported, the win led to him getting booked for an active warrant. So can y'all imagine you winning big, you old crowd now, you thinking about paying, trying to pay back them people who keep calling your phone because you owe them a few dollars, trying to go on that trip, even probably some even going as far as on 50,000, probably talking about quitting a job at Walmart. Child, y'all know some people quit a job, you give them even 20,000. So it goes on to say, so this is his mugshot. This is his mugshot. Sources familiar with the situation tell TMZ Nelly initially thought the rest was a joke or a prank as he was in the middle of collecting his winnings when a background check revealed the open warrant. We're told Nelly was first handcuffed to a chair with one hand to collect the remainder of the cash. Child, can y'all picture that? I need the camera footage. I need the camera footage because they talking about while his hand out, they had the other hand collected to the chair. Like as you're receiving this cash, you finna be right here. You ain't going nowhere. Like the optics of it all. Jennifer Bitt, Walmart said, don't bring them into the. I'm just saying, y'all know somebody, you know somebody, you get him a few dollars. They like, I'm quitting my job. I'm retiring, bruh. Need that sound bite, bruh. So they said that he had a free hand to collect his winning and the other hand was in handcuffs. Ooh, yeah, we need the video footage of that one. Nelly's lawyer claims an arresting officer told his client that they needed to run a background check before giving him the money. The rapper insists that he previously won bigger amounts at the same casino without getting a background check. During this background check, an active warrant for a prior traffic stop issue came up, prompting the arresting officer to search his belongings, where they say they allegedly found ecstasy. So, child, how you go from winning 50,000, okay, you can go here and collect your money, to now you having to justify why you have X on you. That's a hell of a evening. I don't know. It's one of those evenings to where you win big. So you're like, it's the best day of my life. But then you get arrested and it's just like, the day I went to jail, like it's like two things can be true at the same time. Like, did he have to turn around and use the winnings to bail himself out? Like, it's that part. So Nelly's lawyer tells us prosecutors have yet to charge the rapper with drug possession, and now he wants the arresting officer investigated, claiming Nelly was searched without probable cause. Bad luck with the law, but man, sounds like Nelly cleaning up with some loose slots. I think he needs to stay his ass out of the slot machine. That's my opinion. Like, listen, it ain't enough when it's in the world if it means that, okay, after I collect my money, then I got to deal with this ish right here. Jennifer Bibby says a true definition of put my money in my hand. Yes, child, put my money in my hand. They put the money in his hand, and then downtown they went. Downtown they went. So I'm like, okay, what's the deal? I remember, how many of you all remember when Nelly had gotten in some trouble before where his tour bus had gotten searched? And there was drugs, I think it was marijuana then found. So y'all know I got to digging. I went ahead and found some articles pertaining to that. That happened in, let me see, that was in, I don't know, it's like 15 or 2018, because I found this, came across this CNN article talking about the situation where he got pulled over, and there was, okay, so let me jump over, y'all. We finna be moving around. We finna be moving around. Yvonne McGowan said, I remember that. Yes, I remember that. So let's listen. We finna move around, and I'm gonna show you just to refresh your memory if you can't remember where with the arrest. Child, look at this. Rapper Nelly arrested in Tennessee on drug charges, but why they got Trey Songz mugshot up here? Child, Lord Jesus, Trey Songz, like, listen, I've been doing good lately. Don't be tying me to his mess. Do not be tying me to his mess. I got my own charges and allegations and stuff that I'm dealing with. So let's see what happened with that situation with the bus. So with CNN says hip hop star Nelly has been arrested on drug charges in Tennessee after a state trooper pulled over the private bus in which he was traveling, authorities said. The 40-year-old rapper from St. Louis, who shot to fame 15 years ago with the track Country Grammar, has been charged with felony possession of drugs, simple possession of marijuana, and possession of drug paraphernalia. The Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security says. Here we go. This that lawyer again that he keep on retainer. Nelly's lawyer, Scott Rosenblum, said he was extremely confident that when the facts come out, Nelly will not be associated with the contraband that was allegedly discovered. The state trooper stopped the bus carrying Nelly and 5 other people on the Interstate 40 in Putnam County on Saturday because it wasn't displaying the U.S. Department of Transportation and International Full Tax Association stickers. Ooh, that's a mouthful. According to the Tennessee authorities, the trooper was about to conduct an inspection of the bus, a previous motor coach, when he noticed an odor of marijuana emitting from the vehicles. So the C, 5 colored crystal type rocks. So 2 troopers then searched the bus, finding 5 colored crystal type rocks that tested positive for methamphetamine, as well as a small amount of marijuana and other drug paraphernalia. So it says the search also turned up several handguns and 100 small Ziploc bags, which the statement said was commonly used for selling drugs, not him out here being a whole dealer. The guns included a gold-plated 50 caliber Eagle pistol, 45 caliber Taurus pistol, and a 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. Nelly, whose real name is Cornell Haynes, was taken to the Putnam County Jail along with another passenger. He later posted bond and left the jail. Rosenblum said the rapper's star's lawyer, the rap star's lawyer, said in a statement there had been 15 to 20 people that had access to the bus prior to the stop. He described the substance that the troopers are alleged to have found as MDMA, aka Molly or ecstasy. Child. Again, Nelly, like, listen, y'all effing with me. Y'all effing with me. So I throw the question out. Did Ashanti choose right? Like, did she choose right? It's a lot. And y'all, we ain't even got into the part. We still on the drugs part. We haven't even got into the part of just the relationship and the length of time and things that they were together. And let's talk about the fact that of him not even claiming her during that span of time that they were together. I came across an interview, and I'll share that, where he did an interview with Vlad TV. Maybe, I don't know if it was like 8 years ago. And Vlad asked him about his relationship with Ashanti and why did it end? And that man talking about, well, You got to be in a relationship first in order for it to end. I'm like, what? He was like, think about it. Did we ever come out and say that we were together? He was like, the media was saying they together, they broke up, they this, that. So that man, listen, that man was like, y'all can't prove we was together. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? So it's that part for me that goes back to like when I think about when I first learned that they got together, if whether or not I was here for it or not. Jennifer Bibby said, hell no, all Black people don't look alike. Is that so? It's like, could she have done differently? Do y'all remember last year where a lot of people were dragging her because I think she had posted some pictures, and I don't know I can't remember what the caption was, but she posted some pictures of herself. And I think she was just living her best life. And people were going in on her about being, in her big age of 40 plus, not being married and not having any children. They were like, so it was just like all these people commenting about that. And we could probably get into some comments that was made back then. But I remember when that was happening, it was a lot of people coming for her, talking about, I mean, you ain't that successful because you don't have a man. I mean, you're not married, you're not having kids. So miss me with all that other stuff that you say you got going on. If you ain't got no man, you ain't got no kids, it don't count. And that was the energy that she was getting. So then following that, shortly after that, you saw where you were hearing about her and Nelly running around again. And that was coming after what they did the verses together. And Nelly tells a story about how, when he was there at the verses and he bumped into, he saw Ashanti's mom first before he even saw like Ashanti. I don't even know if he knew she was going to be there. Well, I don't know what the circumstances was. It wasn't planned for them to both be there. It seems like where they were like, yo, let's meet up at the verses. But he ended up seeing Ashanti mama first. And he was like, the look that Ashanti mom gave him, she was just like, oh, hell no. So from what I hear, her parents were not here for this little thing, in the beginning. I mean, because I guess they remember just how it ended. I never really was clear on really how their relationship ended. So when I called myself trying to research it and find it, bruh talking about, well, hell, we got to be together first before I can speak on why it ended. So I'm going to share that with you because I just was like, wow. Like, so I don't know. I'm going to let y'all form y'all opinion. We're going to get over there and get into that interview that he had with Vlad. So this is from Vlad TV. So I'm going to play this. It's just, barely 2 minutes, but y'all let me know. Listen to what he says. Just pay attention to what he says about him and Ashanti.
VladTV.com. Hold it down.
Well, what's your relationship these days with Ashanti?
I mean, we're cool. We're always going to be cool. You know what I'm saying? We're friends. It's definitely something that right now, my focus is 5.0. You know what I'm saying? Her focus is her album and getting her music and stuff like that together. And I think it's just one of those things, we talk. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. It's not like, we exempt from each other, but, right now, my focus is her focus.
I mean, as an outsider, you guys as a couple is really something that I thought was really going to happen. Like, it seemed like such a good fit, with you guys. You know what I mean?
See, that's
3 more minutes? Do you know the reason why you guys really ended up splitting up?
To say we split up is to say we admitted we were together.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? To me, me and her, our relationship has been based in the media because it's nothing that we ever said about it. You know what I'm saying? People tend to put us together, then they tend to split us up whenever they feel, you know what I'm saying? Well, she was here without him. He was there without him. They broke up. Oh, they were here together. They're back together. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, damn. So, I mean, we find it funny. We just look and whatever the media says, I guess we roll with. You know what I'm saying? I guess we're together. Oh, okay. Guess we broke up. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things where, like I said again, man, it's just, she's doing her and I'm doing me. So she's single, I'm single.
So there you have it. That man was like, we got to be together to break up. So fast forward 2024, this is her husband. She is Mrs. Nelly. Y'all listen. Salone Newsom said, "What happened? I just got here." What happened was we're going over Nelly and his arrest. Nelly got arrested this week for drug possession and having an outstanding warrant from for not having insurance on a vehicle. So it seems like the warrant was pertaining to a matter from like 2018. So from when he didn't have like insurance, and that situation turned into a warrant. So when he the other night, couple of nights ago, he was at the casino at like 4 in the morning, and he won the jackpot. He hit the jackpot. Listen, player won $50,000. He like, yo, I'm about to go collect my money and make it do what it do. He went to collect his money. They said, "Hey, we need to run a background check." He said, "What? I mean, y'all ain't never had to do this before, and I've won larger amounts of money from here." But they ran a background check, and that's how it returned that he had a warrant for his arrest due to no insurance. And I think that warrant had been there since maybe like December. So he didn't know he had that warrant out there. And you hear about that sometime where you don't know you got a warrant out there until you like get caught up with the police again, and they say, "Hey, you got a warrant for something else." So it does happen where people walking out here like not realizing that there's a whole warrant out here for them underneath their name. So that's what happened with that. So he collected his money. So because they saw he had a warrant, that resulted in them having to shake him down, pat him down, and that's when they found the ecstasy on him. And here we are today. So he was taken to the jail. They say he wasn't, arrested for me. I don't know. His lawyers were like, "Listen, we need to have the officer involved in this looked into, because he shouldn't have been. First of all, they shouldn't have ran a background check. Like, so just do the probable cause." I'm gonna jump over and show you his attorney, because I've seen this same attorney come up for him more than one time when he's gotten in trouble. So this is his attorney, Scott Rosenblum. This is his attorney that he keeps on retainer, and he calls when when it goes down. So he's it seemed like a prominent attorney in the state of Missouri. So it seems like he's pretty good at what he does, enough for Nelly to keep him on retainer. And so that attorney's like, "Listen, we are looking into this further, because what was the probable cause for him to even have to have a background check?" Like, and the casinos are claiming, "Oh, this is their process." But Nelly was like, "No, I've won before. I've won big before. And I didn't never have to do this. Like, what's the deal?" Salone Newsom said, "That's racism." Listen, like, so they gonna get down to it. If we hear about it more, like you're gonna hear about it probably unfolding with probably some lawsuits and things. They were saying, as I was researching this story, that Nelly was not, he wasn't charged. He actually wasn't charged. They went through all that, but they didn't charge him. So it's just like, okay, y'all went through all this, but y'all haven't charged him. Why didn't y'all charge him? Jennifer Bibby said that whole running a background with him, he has, after you won more and never having a background check, sounds like a setup. I think someone saw something and mentioned it to the security, and that's what set it in action. Makes sense to me. So they're going to have the burden of backing up why it is that they decided to run a background check on him. So at this point, the burden of proof is really going to be on the casino to justify their actions. Because sometimes it happens like that, y'all. People will get off on stuff just from a technicality from the police not doing their due diligence. Almost like how they saying the police can't roll up in your house without having a warrant. So let's just say they roll up in your house, they don't have a warrant, they find something, but because they didn't have a warrant, just they even say what they found don't even matter, because it's like, bro, we're gonna stop at the fact that you didn't even have a warrant to get in here. So even though you saying you found this, that, and the third, all right, well, we can't do nothing with that because of how you went about doing it. You broke the law by, with the way you went about doing it. So that seems like that's what's happening here. Scott Rosenblum's like, y'all was doing the absolute most. So F whatever he got on, and we ain't even going to talk about that. Let's back up and talk about why you ran his background check. When he first got arrested, and when I was researching this story, what I learned is that they said there was nothing that he had did illegal that prompted them to have to go as far as to start kind of questioning him and doing all that. So it's just like, well, how do we get here where y'all doing a whole shakedown, pat down, if you're saying there was nothing that he did illegal? So that's where the Scott, see, that's why he pays Scott the big bucks, because Scott be like, look, what y'all not gonna do is be rolling up on my client. He's a celebrity, messing his name up out there. Y'all gonna have to pay for this. So this is definitely not over with. But again, as I got into another article where he got caught up again being on a bus and there was weed and everything, and his attorney's like, yo, I mean, there's other people on this bus, so how do you know it's my clients? So it's layers to it. But Rosenblum be getting Nelly out some stuff. He definitely get Nelly out some stuff. Salome said, but someone like Trump will break every law and never goes to jail. You know, sometimes it's not who it's about like who you know, the name you have, how you look, all of that. All of that can make a part in how people are treated. You know, sometimes it can be a whole something dealing with just classism, and it's not even about race, but just how much money you have. If you got, you know, the right amount of money, what's your name hold? Listen, we got P. Diddy out here, got all these allegations thrown at him and even proof videos, everything, and he's still roaming the streets. But you know, people just locally in your neighborhood, your circle, maybe your family, who they just jaywalked and y'all, they locked up. You know, they had marijuana walking down the street, and you know, somebody smelt it and found it on them and locked them up, like for way less charges, way less serious charges. So it is a whole thing where no, everyone isn't treated equal, and some people have money to afford good attorneys to prove that in the court system. Good attorneys like Scott Rosenblum. Scott Rosenblum has also helped Nelly. So Nelly, do y'all remember when Nelly had some charges out there with SA charges? Y'all remember when he had those charges out there, where there was a woman that was accusing him, and then suddenly, you know, things just kind of got quiet out there. Let me see. I had okay. So we're gonna hop over and look at the situation where Nelly had some charges, SA charges against him, and then they just got dropped. The person just, I think, just decided to no longer cooperate. So money talks. So let's get into this. Rapper Nelly settles with a woman over sexual assault lawsuit. So this is dated September 27, 2018. The rapper Nelly has agreed to settle a lawsuit filed by a woman who alleges that he arred her on his tour bus, back to that tour bus, in a suburban Seattle, then defamed her when he claimed she made up the accusation. Y'all remember he was with Miss Jackson when that happened, because I think people was kind of looking at her sideways and things like that, where her being with him, given that her man had these charges against him. Yvonne McGower saying, please hit the like button on your way in. Yes, please hit the like button. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all, we getting into some things. It's layers. That's why I have the question titled on the title of this video. Did Ashanti choose right or not? Like, you know, what do you think? What do you think? She choose right or nah? You like, nah, she should have, you know, Miss Jackson dodged a bullet. There's a lot that comes along with being with this man. So let's get back to that article dealing with the woman and the charges. So it says that settlement terms between Monique Green and Nelly, whose real name is Cornell Haynes Jr., haven't been disclosed yet. A dismissal order filed Monday in King County Superior Court shows both sides agreed to pay their own attorney fees and costs. Nelly's lawyer, Scott Rosenblum, child, I told y'all he keep this little white man on retainer, said in an email that no money exchanged hands. Green's lawyer, Karen Kohler, disputes that assertion, but said she couldn't comment specifically. Asked by the newspaper if Green still stands behind the allegations detailing the lawsuit, Kohler said 100%. This is like, yes, I stand by what I said. I said what I said, what I said. Police arrested Nelly on October 7th after Green reported he had SA'd her on his tour bus in the city of Auburn. An Auburn police investigation found probable cause of an assault, but prosecutors decided against charging the rapper, citing a lack of cooperation by the accuser. What happened, y'all? Why the accuser at one point was like, yes, I'm ready to tell my story, and then suddenly backed away. How often do you hear things like that happen? How often do you, when you hear things like that happen, do you then go, have the mindset of, oh, she must was lying, he or she must was lying, it must never happen? Or do you have a mindset of, I wonder, did they get to her? What happened behind the scene to have this person retract their original statement? Like, yeah, listen, y'all got to read between the lines on these things. Green, then 22 years, she was then, let me see. Okay, so Rosenblum said the accusations were fabricated. Afterwards, Nelly's attorney issued several public statements contending the then unidentified woman had made up her claims. Green, then a 22-year-old student at the University of Washington, sued Nelly in December. So what, she backed away from the criminal charges, and then what came at him with the civil charge? Okay, that's interesting. He responded by countersuing Green for defamation, contending their sexual encounter was consensual. His claims were also dropped under the dismissal agreement. The Association Press and generally doesn't name people who say they are victim of sex crimes, but Kohler said Green agreed to be publicly identified. Child, like, if it ain't one thing, it's another going on with Nelly. So it's a lot. I am me. Welcome. You said one thing a man is going to do is embarrass you. Child, how many people have experienced that who can contest to that? And that's the thing, it's just like, do you want to tie yourself to someone who always just got something going on or some type of negative accusation tied to them, whether they beat it or not? Like, what they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. Do you at some point think like, bro, like, if you got all this going on, you probably outside a bit too much. You probably outside just a little too much. And when I learned about this situation with Nelly, my first thought went on the new baby that was just born. I'm like, damn, the baby just was born. Is he trying to get out the house because he don't want to hear the baby crying? Because at this point, a baby at 3 weeks, all they doing is just eating and sleeping and then crying in between. Mama's nursing the baby likely. So it's really not a lot that daddy can do with the new baby, but other than to be around and be a support for mama. But listen, Nelly was like, I'm getting out this damn house. I'm going to the casino. I'm going to test my luck. He won big. And then this is what happened. So I couldn't help but to wonder, what was Ashanti's thoughts when she saw this hit the media? What was her parents' thoughts? Were they like in protective mode of him? Or were they like, damn, no, like, come on, like, what were you doing out there? You were supposed to be at home anyway. So I had just a lot of thoughts going in my mind, and that's what had me to want to come out here and talk about it, because there's a lot of people who were not here for this relationship the entire time. And I feel like for me, what turned around for me is when I learned that he had popped the question. Like, I'm like, okay, because my biggest fear in the beginning was that he was going to waste her time. And I didn't want him to waste her time again, because that's how everybody looked at it, as though he wasted her time all those years when they were together. I think they were together maybe about 9 years, and it didn't turn into anything. So she went on about her business. He started dating Miss Jackson, who I believe was an ex-girlfriend of the boxer Floyd Mayweather. And then, he was with her for about a good 7 years. And I came across an interview that he did also with someone else when they were asking about Miss Jackson. And it was, he was saying, I think it probably was like a headline or something, but he was alluding to, he wasn't ready to get married when he was with Miss Jackson, which is arguably probably the same situation when he was with Ashanti. He wasn't ready. Now he's 50, however old he is. And he's like, okay, but is he really ready to get married? Like, that's the question. Why did Nelly choose to settle down and marry Ashanti? I came across this breakdown. It's like this timeline of the different people that Nelly has been linked to. So he's dealt with quite a bit of people in the industry. And listen, so he's had his share of women. The quality of them, I'll let you be the judge of that. I'll share my screen to show you so you can see the roster of women that he's dealt with. But none of them turned into like anything, where he was popping a question or anything like that. But, he's been with some pretty, some big name people out here, many of them who I wasn't aware of. We'll start here. He dated Kat Stacks. Kat Stacks is a hip hop artist who previously dated him. Looks like maybe back in, it doesn't say the year that they dated, but that was a new one for me. I've heard of Kat Stacks. I'm not too familiar with her as far as her background, but she is a name that I have heard in the industry. He dated her. She's described as a socialite. So her name was Andrea Stacks, but she goes by the name of Kat Stacks. Who else he dated? He's dated someone by the name of who was they say Shanetta Valentine. He dated this person from September 1990 through 99. Again, this is another one. I'm not for sure who she is because they didn't provide a picture of her. But Chanel, it looks like she was in the music industry or she was trying to pursue a music career. So he dated her. So then let's get down to the infamous Corinne Steffens, aka Superhead. How many of you all remember her? She is on the roster too. But listen, who list isn't Corinne on from back in the early 2000s? So yeah, she had the Vixen series books, but yeah, so he was linked to her, which is early, like I said, early 2000s, January 2000. Eve, did y'all know he was linked to the rapper Eve? Yes. Listen, Eve was like, I couldn't deal with that. Eve and him dated, but it didn't last. Look, it went from December 2000 to April 2003. Y'all know Eve is married to a whole millionaire out here who we do not hear running around embarrassing her. Whatever he's doing, he not doing it in a way to where it's hitting the media. What you say, they say it is not what you do, it's how you do it. So Eve's husband is definitely out here respecting her name. We'll just say that. We don't know what Maximilian, the husband, does when he ain't around. But what we do know is we don't hear about him out here doing no nonsense. And she happened to be looked at, asked questions about his crazy behaviors. Claudia Jordan. Now, Claudia is still single, unmarried, no kids, beautiful, never married. So much, no different than say our Ashanti was 1 year ago. 1 year ago, never married. So do the men look at her sideways too? I mean, you got some men like, listen, you ain't got no husband, no kids. What are you talking about? You are here for us. F how much money you got in the bank, how many Grammys you got. You ain't got no man, you ain't got no kids, so you're a loser. That's how a lot of these red pill men think and feel about successful women today. So he dated Claudia Jordan, and it looks like they dated back in the early 2000s and 2002. Nicole Narain, I wasn't familiar with her, but it looks like she was a Playboy model. She was a model. They dated in 2002. She was Playboy model in 2002, or Playboy Playmate for a month of January 2002. Nelly and her dated in 2004. And then there's a woman named Ashanti Heckard. Her face looks familiar, but I'm not familiar with who she is, and I don't recognize that name. But I don't know if maybe I've seen her, and maybe she looks like she would appear in some music videos. She's a beautiful lady, but her face looks very familiar. It says that her name is, she goes by Tay, but her name is Ashanti Heckard, and she's an American South Korean actress and social media personality. So they dated in 2005 till 2014, and she's best known for her appearance on the U.S. comedy drama series The Game. So maybe that's where I recognize her from, that show, The Game. And then here's Chantel Jackson. So this is the last woman that he was with. People was accusing her, saying that she was taunting them and things like that, when Nelly and Ashanti were being seen running around with each other, and she was in the comments, she was dropping thirst trap pics all on Instagram, like she was doing a lot. I will say, Miss Chantel was doing a lot, at the time when Nelly and Ashanti were running around just, looking like they're living their best life. And Chantel was just looking like she was just really brokenhearted and just sad, even though she didn't come out and say it. Because if you guys have ever heard Chantel's story is, listen, we was just on a break and that's what it's supposed to be. And next thing you know, I hear he's now with, dating Ashanti. So that's her story of what had happened with them. Like, to her, it wasn't like they had officially fully just said, we're done with each other. He's just like, she just started hearing that, he was dating Ashanti. So I think, like, for her, she don't really feel like it was like that full clean break between them. So she didn't really have that closure. She still had hopes that, with them just having this little break, that they would find themselves back to one another. And it did not work out that way. Who is Nelly dating now? The infamous Ashanti. The pair were on and off again for 10 years until 2014. Child, remember I showed that interview with him and Vlad, and he talking about, well, how you break up with somebody if y'all never was officially together? Huh? How you finna kick it? Now, ladies, listen up. If you kicking it with somebody for 10 years and y'all not even on the status of them acknowledging you as being theirs, or even with you as a guy and the woman's not acknowledging you as being her man, like, Houston, we got a problem. Ain't no way you should be kicking it with somebody past a year and y'all ain't put something on it, and y'all just running around like y'all in love, but then y'all ain't. Something's wrong with that. 10 years. This man was like, yo, Vlad, I mean, how can I talk about a breakup when, we never really technically was together? I mean, the people was saying we was together because they was seeing us running around together, having a good time, but we never came out and said we was together. So what do you mean, how you handling the breakup, child? It was cringe. It was that part for me. Yes. Let me get into some comments before I finish. Let me see. Meso, welcome. Corinne Steffens, what she had going on with Nelly. She was with a lot of people. I know people who read her books, but I never got and read any of her books. But what I do know is that she was dropping names in those books. And it was like back in the early 2000s, because I remember when all that happened, child. I was early 2000. Had just gotten married, having kids and stuff. So I think I was in college. So I didn't find time to drop and stop and just get into her books back then. But I was hearing people talk about it. And if any of you on here who remember reading her book, you can drop, some things that you remember her saying, or some people she was with, if she even referenced Nelly. But Corinne was with a lot of people. So when I seen her on the list, on his roster list, I was not the least bit surprised, because I know Corinne has been with a lot of people. She has. Radar said, oh no, he was linked to everyone. Yes. That's the question. Did Ashanti choose right or not? Like, could she have done better? Could she have done better? When I think about that question of could she have done better, I think that she could have done better had she married younger. She's in her early 40s. Yes, women still get married at that age, but with women, like, the older we get, the likelihood of us getting married, getting wife, it just starts to lessen, because men like younger women. So they're going to, as they're getting older, they're going to be checking for the younger woman. So let's just say a man in his 40s, he's going to be still kind of checking for that woman who's in her 20s, maybe kind of early 30s. That woman who's in her 40s likely is probably going to be like an older man who may be checking for or showing interest in her. I think that Ashanti just had a lot of idle time. What she was doing as far as her dating in between, I don't know, because it's like after she finished dating Nelly, you didn't really hear about her being linked with anybody. You heard about him being linked with Miss Jackson. It seemed not really long after, but he was with her for a while. But you didn't hear about her being linked with anybody. And then, when you would hear her name, it was just her, just, going around, just living her life, making her money, doing her music, playing her old songs and things like that. It wasn't like it was about like any new love or anything going on in her life like that. So I think that had she back in her youthfulness, what they say most time with women, like, we're more viable like when we're young. So I just think that maybe coming off of right after dating Nelly, would have probably been her better chances of being wife by someone on the level. When I say level, I'm only talking about it from a financial aspect. From a financial aspect, I feel like when she was younger, maybe 30, early 30s at best, that would have been her most viable time to get wifed up by someone whose money look like hers, or even like Nelly's. Let me see what her money looking like versus um his money, Ashanti's net worth. I'm gonna look up her net worth and see what she's working with, because I know she's not broke. So it's saying she's worth 20 million. So let me share my screen so you all can see, because I'm gonna look up his as well so we can see what his net worth is in comparison to hers. So Ashanti is not broke. She's perfectly fine from a financial standpoint. So she's worth $22 million as of this year. So sis is good. The baby's good. Like, she don't need him when it comes to from a financial aspect. But I don't think anybody gonna sit up here and just try to act like she don't love that man. Let's see what his net worth is. Because he sold his catalog or something. So I know, he made a good amount of money from selling oh snap, like y'all, this saying he worth $70 million. This is saying yep, he's worth 70 million. I heard an interesting take. I heard a woman say she felt like Ashanti made a good move by marrying him because she ain't making no new music and he got a lot of money. And again, as I'm talking about age and things, she felt like this was probably going to be the best from a financial standpoint that Ashanti would be able to do when it comes with a man. If she were to do better with a man, and making, I don't know if he would make 70 million, but making anywhere maybe within 50 million of that, or 40 million of that, he would probably have to be non-black, like what rapper Eve did. Her man, he's not black. I'm not quite sure what he is, but he's not American. He's a white man. He's worth a lot of money, but she left the culture. I think and then she did all of that too, kind of in, later in age. She probably was in her 30s still when she hooked up with Maximilian. So again, that clock be ticking. We can't be playing. We cannot be out here playing like that. Radar said recently she got back with him to have a baby. You said clock was ticking. That is a real thing. There's so often I see women, like when that clock gets to ticking, they start looking to the right or left. They start evaluating this list that they had with what the requirements was, because that timeline is real when it comes time with birthing a child. Like, your body is on this clock on, like, when for you to be able to have this baby, like, child, you developing a whole human inside of you. So that is like something serious. You guys, as you all see with Ashanti is a prime example, just from the physical aspect of, from visual, from the aesthetics of what a baby can do to you. Look how huge she got. And people started kind of coming for her when they saw her pictures from her baby shower with how big, she'd gotten. And, later in age, that snapback don't be the same as when you're younger. So Ashanti got $1 billion, so I have no doubt that she is not going to get to have the snapback, but she's probably going to have help with, personal trainers, just doing a lot of extra stuff that, like, somebody like me who had my babies in my 20s didn't have to do. I think she's going to have to put in that extra work because she had her baby later in life and the body just ain't reacted the same way. So the last thing she need to be dealing with is the nonsense that's in the media complaining about her husband, her baby daddy, and then her just trying to just get acclimated to just this new body she has, as she has to nurse. It's so many changes that she's going through. So I can only imagine there's just a lot of emotions that she got going on right now. So I hope, she's just in the best spirits, and Nelly just has sat down. Like, it's like, sit down. I just hope that he's now, in this space to where he just want to sit down. Like, okay, maybe this was a wake-up call for him. And he's like, okay, I need to simmer down. This is just not a good look. I got this new baby. I'm 50 years old. I got a new baby. I can't be out here like this. So yes, they wrongfully, pat me down, but, like, really, did I need to even be out here at these casinos like that anyway? Like, I just hope that he's having those types of talks with himself. But there is a conversation going on. Is Nelly a dusty? I heard, someone having a back and forth with someone where the person says that, Nelly is a dusty, and her reasoning is because he do things that dusties do, with just getting caught up in different types of things, as we've been talking about with the drugs on the tour bus, stringing along women for years and years on end. She was like, it's not about his money. It's just about his behavior, his antics. So just separate the money. Can someone who's rich still be like a dusty? Can I guess that would be questionable if you would put Cardi B's husband Offset in that category. Like, Offset got a lot of money too, but is he a good quality man? Like that's something we got to kind of stop and think about aside from the money. Meso said, hopefully he doesn't spiral knowing just for married and having a baby. I hope not. I mean, we're going to watch it. I hope that it doesn't, turn into anything like that where he spirals. But at the same time, the question is Ashanti aware of him engaging in such activities? Like, say, okay, so let's just talk about him having those X pills on him. Do you guys think that Ashanti is aware? Do you all think Ashanti is aware that he uses that? Do y'all think that it's a problem to her? Do you think that maybe some of those things that he partake in, she has partaken in those things too, So it's like we're on the outside looking in like, child, couldn't be me. I can't believe that. But then you have to wonder like, okay, is she good with certain things? Is certain things that we see that he engage in, do she engage in those things too? So I think right now all eyes are on Nelly and his shenanigans, but Ashanti has known him for many years. She knows him very well. And do you think she's really surprised at what maybe some of us may be surprised at? Because that's the conversation where some people are like, I'm not surprised. She shouldn't have been with him anyway. She should have just kept it moving, yet never spin the block. You got some people who believe somebody is an ex for a reason. There's no need to spin the block. You just keep moving forward. And they haven't even been married a year. And this is what we're dealing with. Nelly, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to go as far as to call him a dusty, but I do feel like he does have some character flaws. I'm going to say that. I do feel like that he can do better. He can do better if he wants to do better, but it also comes down to if Ashanti requires for him to do better. Does she require for him to show up differently for her? How is she with him? Like I said, does she engage in some of maybe the nonsense, the things that he engaged in? How many of us know women or have been that woman to where you dealt with foolishness or foolery for the sake of keeping the peace, or you didn't want him to think that you just a bugaboo and you didn't want to run him off. So you just deal with it until you just can't anymore. Is that arguably where Cardi B might be today with Offset? Like sometimes women will just endure so much. And an interesting take on that reasoning, a reasoning behind that. There's a guy I like to follow. Some of you may or may not be familiar with him. His name is Tony Gaskins. He's a motivational speaker, has a large following. Look him up. He's on all platforms, but Tony Gaskins is his name. And he's a celebrity, coach. He coaches a lot of celebrities, and he'll coach, regular people too. But an interesting thing he said about women and how they just can do all these crazy things for men. He said that women were designed for men. So when he said it, what he meant by that is that women were designed to be there for a man, which means so the things they're more apt to just be allowing a man to just do the absolute most and still deal with it, is because the way we're designed and the way we're wired is to yearn and want to be with a man and be there for him. So it made sense to me. And the reason why it makes so much sense to me, because I see so many women and so many of us have our memories of being that woman where we dealt with a lot of foolishness, things that we know good and dang well a man is not going to deal with. he's not going to deal with. But we time and time deal with it, forgive and forget. And we do that over and over again. And it's like, sis, you ain't tired. So when he said that, he was like, it's because it's our innate nature to just want to be there and be connected to that man. So it makes it harder for us to break away and move around. And it makes sense. It makes so much sense. So it's unfortunate. I can only hope and pray that Ashanti is not a woman to where she's so caught up in the aesthetics or just the image of having her husband and having the family, the nuclear family, to where she'll just overlook and dismiss a lot of shenanigans. It, like, that's going to be that part. And what's also going to make a difference too is what type of marriage example did Ashanti see growing up between her parents? Because a lot of times our relationships will emulate a lot of like what we witnessed, whether it was a man being abusive in any form, a man, abusing substances, a man cheating, just all kinds of things. If we grew up and was in environments where a lot of that was happening, it's so easy for us to find ourselves in that type of situation ourselves, because that's what is familiar with us. So it's almost like you've internalized, like, oh, well, this is the way it's supposed to be. This is what it looks like when a man loves me. My daddy was doing that with my mama, and they've been married for 40 years. Like, you see what I'm saying? So I think a lot of how Ashanti's going to handle things when it comes to Nelly and his shenanigans, it's going to play a part into how her mom handled things with her father. Now, I'm not sure if they're still together or not. I don't know. But I know she was raised in like a two-parent household, but I don't know the status of her parents' relationship today. So it's going to be interesting to watch and see how this plays out. Meso said, like, share, and subscribe, and be aware that she has dated him for almost 2 decades on and off. I think she always loved him, and he wasn't getting the comment in the 20s and the 30s. Right. I agree. Like she's been writing for him for a long time. And she loved, she did it all out of love. He said Ashanti knew him for over 20 years. They broke up previously. I believe he wanted to live the fast life, and now he's given the attention she wanted. So I just think, yeah, Nelly I think Nelly, someone pointed out how, like, with Nelly, when him and Ashanti are together and pictures are posted of them together, there's more likes and shares and interest and feedback on those pictures with him with Ashanti versus himself. I think that he likes the attention that he gets by being connected to Ashanti, because it's a different type of attention than he was getting before. So again, he's benefiting, off of her energy again. And I think that he more so benefits from her name versus her benefiting from his name, even though we saw his network is a lot bigger than hers. It just seems like she has, I don't know, it's like people just love Ashanti. She's like America's sweetheart. What do you ever hear negative about Ashanti? You don't really hear anybody talk negatively about her. She's always, whenever you see her, she has this big smile on her face. It's like I never see her not look happy. That's just her energy. So she has that energy that I can see people wanting to just suck up, where people who aren't deserving of her energy come and try to take advantage, and he can very well be one. I think we'll have to watch and see how he moves. We will have to watch it. I also just learned that they both just started a business together. Were you guys aware of that? Let me see what I can find on that. But I didn't know that they had just had started a business together or invested in the business together. Shanti, let me see if I can find it. Please. Okay, so I'm about to jump over so I can show you, but I was listening to someone one day talk about them, and they mentioned that they have a business together. And y'all, they said he was about to revamp the apple bottom jeans. So I think the website, everything, so we can look into that too. But y'all remember apple bottom jeans, his clothing brand, but he's revamping that. He wasn't talking about or doing all that before, he got back with Ashanti. So I really believe that she's actually doing more for his brand versus the other way around. So this is what I found out pertaining to their business venture. Ashanti and Nelly become co-owners of Prove, an at-home fertility and hormone testing company. While celebrating the gift of new life that's on the way, Nelly and Ashanti have also shared a new venture that they embarked on April 17, 2014. On April 17, 2024, the couple announced that they are engaged and expecting their first child. So, child, they already, creating businesses and things together. So, may they work out. I hope there's prenups and all of that jazz in place, but with them starting this business, the rumor is they got married back in December. So if they started this business after they got married, listen, that's community property. So if they were to go their separate ways, this is going to be up for conversation, in the divorce litigations. But yeah, anything that they both had going on prior to, there's no discussion. So hopefully there are prenups in place for both of them. He's worth 70 million. So I hope they both have prenups in place to protect themselves. So let's look into this apple bottom jeans, y'all, because I was surprised when I learned that he was relaunching the apple bottom jean. Well, let me see. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's jump over. I'm about to jump. We're gonna move around, but I'm like, okay, not the apple bottom jeans coming back. Okay, Nelly. So let's see. I hadn't heard anyone talking about it, but this has been out here in the news since April of this year. Nelly's bringing apple bottoms back. So as discussed this morning, Shed and Scoop, Nelly took to his Instagram over the weekend and announced the return of the apple bottom jeans in 2024. Yes. He shared sketches of upcoming looks from the brand he founded in 2003. I think he should do it. The stuff my kids are wearing now looks like it's from that era, so he might as well take advantage of it. Apple Bottoms was inspired by Nelly's desire to create stylish apparel accentuating women's natural curves. Apple bottom jeans became an instant hit as they were a perfect fit for women with voluptuous body types. Brands and success was attributed to its trendy designs, empowering message of body positivity and self-confidence. How many of you all had a pair of apple bottom jeans? That was a good look for him. He's bringing them back, y'all. He's like, listen, it's coming back. I think, like I said, with Ashanti, she just, she's given him like this new boost of life to like just step out there. Let's try things. And that is always good. I mean, that is good. But again, you still got to reel it in. You can't, let it get out of hand to where now you just doing some old extra stuff because you feeling yourself. So I just hope that it just don't go too deep to where he's feeling himself so bad to where he's messing up the bag, messing up his relationship, the brand, all of that jazz. Like he has to reel it in because, he got a family. He's got a wife now. You don't want to mess that up. Like it's a bad look. Immediately having a new baby within the first year of your marriage, like you got this situation to deal with. And some people started questioning, like, child, who he was out kicking it with, using X with. I don't know about that life, as far as when you're using that, what reasons why you use it. But some people were wondering if there was somebody nearby, somebody in tow. I hadn't seen, anyone in particular that, that as far as another woman or anybody that he was linked to that night, but people were asking questions like, okay, what was Nelly doing out? Who was he with? If Ashanti at home with the baby, who was Nelly with that night? Who was he at the casinos with? Who was he using X with? Like, these are the questions that are getting thrown out there. And it's very sad because it's too fresh in their relationship for these questions to be coming about. And they're just starting out. They ain't even, left they're still in the newlywed phase. It's not even like they got maybe 7, 8 years in the game, and then you're hearing things like, no, we talking about 7, 8 months in the game. So it's very early, very, very early to be having these types of discussions surrounding Nelly and his relationship with Ashanti. It's going to be very interesting to watch. I personally wish them the best, but I also, what I don't want to see is Ashanti be out here looking like Cardi B, enduring just stuff on top of stuff just to save face. I don't want to see her going down looking bad like that. I don't want to see that for her. She's done too well for herself to have to feel like she has to settle for that type of treatment just to say that she has a husband, just to say that she with her baby dad. Like, no, no, he has to respect you. And if he can't do that, then it is what it is. You all just may have to co-parent. You may have to co-parent. So I think the longevity of their relationship is really going to be dependent on his behaviors. From what I'm seeing, not really her, it's going to be him. And if marriage is something that really he's built for, because maybe this is reason why he never really even wanted to get married, because he didn't really believe that he can really do right by a woman, has been her husband. I've heard men say that. I remember years ago, Puff Daddy, when they would ask him, like, why aren't you marrying Kim? And his comment was, which I could respect at that time. He was like, I still haven't even learned how to be a good boyfriend. So I know, I take marriage serious. I do not want to get married um, if I know that I'm out here on some other stuff. So I can respect that. I respect that more than someone just jumping in just for the sake of, okay, because everybody's saying, hey, you need to do it, you need to do it. Now, an example of what I'm talking about when someone says, no, I'm not ready, we're not ready, is like with the rapper Big Sean and the singer Janae Aiko. People are mad because Big Sean did an interview with Charlemagne and he was like, no, I'm not ready, we're not ready, we got some work to do, this, that, and the third. And people like, damn, like y'all been together for like 7, 8 years. They've been together for a little minute. Y'all got a baby. What do you mean? So I compare their situation to, say, Ashanti and Nelly. You got one man who's saying, no, we ain't ready. We got ish to do. Yeah, we got a baby, but marriage is serious. Then we got the other man, Nelly, who's like, well, yeah, arguably, he still got some work to do, but I'm going to go ahead and marry her and wife her up, make an honest woman out of her. We're going to have this family, even if maybe he doesn't necessarily feel like he's maybe fully ready. I peeped, and you guys let me know, when I was watching when he surprised Ashanti with the baby shower, I didn't notice him wearing a wedding band on his finger. Have you all taken notice of Nelly ever wearing a wedding band? I've never seen a ring on his finger since him and Ashanti's been married and let the cat out the hat, out the bag that he's married. So what's the deal? Why isn't Nelly wearing a wedding ring? What is that about? Because I haven't seen it. Y'all can let me know. Y'all can let me know if you all have seen a wedding ring, but I have not taken notice of a wedding ring. So when I take notice of things like that in relationship, like I stop and really think about that. Even though some people with rings still do the most too in their relationships, but people who just out the gate just like, listen, I'm not even fit to fake funk. I'm just not going to put it on. It's a different type of energy with that right there. And then you guys, it's not even like I said, you guys been married for a while. You guys are newlyweds. So already early on in a relationship, the ring isn't even on. What's the deal with that? Let me know if you've seen a ring, because I have not taken notice of a wedding band on the hand. So again, it goes back to my question: is Janae in a better situation dealing with Big Sean, with him saying, no, we ain't ready, we got work to do, whatever. I know we got a baby, and we've been together for all these years, but we just not ready. We got some things to work on. Or do you think that, no, they should be like Nelly and Ashanti? Well, we're going to go ahead and make it do what it do. We got this baby coming along. Ashanti really has been wanting to be married, have kids. Nelly's like, okay, I'm about to give her what she wants. How Nelly felt about it deep down, as far as if he felt like he genuinely was ready for that, who knows? I don't know. I was researching this video, researching, trying to see if I can find interviews and things of him to try to pick up, kind of to gauge, to see if I can kind of tell where he was at pertaining to like marriage and things like that with Ashanti. Again, I think Nelly looks at his relationship with Ashanti from more of the lens from the business aspect. I think Ashanti truly is in love with Nelly, and that's just who she always been in love with. And she was like, listen, if we're gonna try it again, I'm here for it. And while it's working for us, let's just go ahead and create this family. I definitely believe that she got pregnant on purpose because, it's coming off of the media really in her behind about her not being married and having children. Unfortunately, that's unfortunate that the people came at her like that, but that is what happened. And I do feel like, it did bother her in some type of way. Next thing you know, she's on the block with her ex. They all happy running around. Then you hear of a pregnancy. Well, for a long time it was speculated because no matter how big she was getting or hard she was breathing, they still wouldn't come out and acknowledge her being pregnant. So finally they did come out, acknowledge her being pregnant. And then we eventually learned of, with the engagement and the marriage and things like that. So I truly believe she's sincere. Nelly, to me, is giving, this is good for business. This is good for business. I'm 50, sure, hell, okay, why not? If I am going to do it, uh, I'd rather do it with her. Yeah. So let's do it for her because at least if I marry her, it's good for my business because she got some type of name about her. She got her own brand. Like it'll be a good look, kind of like how Jay-Z and Beyonce kind of was a good look, a good collaboration from a branding. Even Cardi B and Offset from a branding perspective, I think was looked as a good look because they both were popular artists at the time. Her a solo artist, and then Offset, being with a really huge popular group, which is from where just they're from just next door to the town I live in. We live in the same county, so they're probably from an area that's maybe 20-25 minutes away from where I live right now. So I'm very familiar with where Offset, where the members of the Amigos group are from, because I live in the same community. So I think, sometimes people will do just that. They will link up for the money. Like, and I do believe as a married person of 20 years this year in October, like marriage is a business deal. It's a business deal. So so the way I look at it is from that business aspect is the responsibility of it. So I don't move around like, okay, I'm looking at it as it's just business and nothing personal. I treat it like I have a business mindset as far as with, okay, not wanting to mess things up. So it's kind of like in the reverse, that because I know it's business, you want to make sure that you run your business is ran sufficient, right? So because when it comes time to say things ain't going right and you got to deal with the technicalities, all that paperwork, get in the courts, like that's not fun times. That's not fun times. You all, what they say, the person you see at divorce court is not the person you saw at the altar. Like you become completely different when it comes time to separate. Like people just see different versions of the person who they once fell in love with. It's just like a whole different person. And so marriage is a business. However, it's also more than that, but a business is an aspect of it. So for some people to say, oh, it's just a piece of paper. Nah, child, when it's definitely way more than a piece of paper, because when stuff start popping off and people, start not breathing no more and you got assets to deal with, if you was just a baby mama, a long time girlfriend, whatever, that you can't go to the court and say, well, judge, it was just a piece of paper, but we was together. I still feel like I should have, all his or her, money in the bank. The judge, I'm like, that don't count. I don't know if you all remember, but that's exactly what went down with DMX and his then longtime girlfriend when he passed away. His girlfriend / baby mama. She tried to lawyer up and go to the courts to try to get some of, money and things from his estate because she wanted to try to do it under like a common law where, we were longtime boyfriend and girlfriend. And that judge was like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am, that's not how this works. I don't even know how many states anymore really even offer the common law. I don't think Georgia offers it anymore, but it was once a thing in some places. But listen, DMX baby mama tried it and the judge was like, no, ma'am, you should have handled your business when he was here. So that is something that I think anyone who's listening needs to be cognizant of when you are just kicking it with somebody for a long period of time. If you are not married, then the best way to protect yourself is just getting some type of legal documents in place. I mean, pretty much, I think the only thing that would probably suffice outside of, having the marriage license is a will. If there's a will in place, and in that will the person say, okay, I want to leave this to you. But really, let's think about it. How many people running around with a whole will out here? Most people don't really have a will. I think it's just something that people don't really put a lot of thought into it. And more often than not, we hear about people with like $1 billion, having a will, but as far as regular everyday people, we not running around with wills. If we are married, we know, okay, something happened to me, my spouse, my partner, my spouse is getting this, my kids is getting that. And we're not really thinking about as far as that girlfriend or boyfriend or anything like that. So we really got to stop to think about that more than what we do. Laura, hey, welcome, Laura. Laura says some people do not like rings on hands. Hi, maybe he could tattoo a ring. That's true. Some people don't like rings on hand, but I don't know. It's always interesting to me when I do see someone not wear a ring, and more often than not, when it's a married couple, it's the husband who don't have the ring on. But yes, it's different reasons as to why someone may not wear a ring. But the aesthetics of it, is just it does have someone to kind of side eye and question that particular person's intentions when a ring isn't present. Laura says, very powerful piece of paper. Yes, it's very powerful. So I think a lot of times people reduce the value when they don't have it, because those who have it understands what it means. It's the ones who I see that don't have it are the ones who like, oh, it's just a piece of paper. And it's like, okay, yeah, okay. Well, you keep living on it's a piece of paper. So here's the kicker when I even talk about a will and a will been in place. Somebody at any given time can go and remove you from the will. So let's just say you have a boyfriend and, you guys been together for a long time and he's like, okay, I'm going to add you to my will. Okay, he adds you to the will, but if he chose to remove you from the will, he don't need to let you know. He don't need to have you sign or anything to say, you ain't got to. A lot of times people don't learn that they got removed from a will until when it comes time for the will reading after the person had passed away. I think the actress, what happened with the actress Tori Spelling years ago from the show 90210, when her father, her rich father, he had a lot of money. When he passed away, she learned that he had removed her from the will. She didn't know because it's his money. That's what I'm saying. Like when you're married and you got, one spouse died, like you can still collect whatever because you are the surviving spouse. But when you're just relying on a will, somebody can go, child, somebody can go quickly. Please erase her name. She pissed me off today. And Aaron, okay, let me see. Laura, thank you. Aaron Spelling, yes. Aaron had crazy amount of money. Listen, Tori was messed up when she learned what her daddy had did, and she had no clue. Like, can you imagine learning that your rich parent who passed on basically left you nothing? And he had every right. He left her nothing. I think if he was married at the time, he might have had, the money might went to the wife, whatever, but she was his daughter. So imagine being a girlfriend. Like, so y'all don't play with that paper stuff thinking like, oh, it's just paper, child. You mess around, get your feelings hurt. Your baby will probably have more benefits after the person is gone before you, because they can get what they have, like Social Security. There's things out there for that, but there is no plan for girls, for baby mamas, baby daddies. Like there is nothing out there for that. So protect yourselves. And I hope with a Nelly and Ashanti, they at least have, wills and not wills, but the prenups in place to protect both of them, because I think they both need to be protected. They definitely both need to be protected. And it's always so interesting when you'll hear about relationships going left and then you learn that there was no prenup in place. And do you guys remember the story, the lady, the first Black bachelorette, and she married, I think the guy she married, she's an attorney, and I think the guy she ended up selecting was like a physical therapist or whatever. And like last year, she had wrote a kid's book, like wrote about their relationship, had just, published it and everything. Child, like 2 months, a month or so after she put that book out talking about, how wonderful her relationship was, that white man filed for divorce. and he's asking for like money, spousal support, all this stuff. And come to find out, there was no prenup in place. She's an attorney. There is no prenup in place. So this woman was sick over the idea that her husband no longer wants to be with her, because likely he went on that show just to get attention. So he did that. And after he started, because listen, his Instagram page just blew up. Y'all, he'd be on his Instagram all with no shirt on, like he just blew up. So she was just free marketing. People will do that. They will go on these shows, go on television just for attention. It's not about anything else. It's just the attention. And now he's like, okay, well, no, I don't want to be with you. And I want you to, run me that check. So that's what she's dealing with right now. The divorce plus, having to pay him money because she did not have a prenup. It ain't enough being in love in the world to not try to protect yourself when you know that you have a lot more than a person that you're with. Like, you have to protect yourself. You have to protect yourself. Only time it makes sense if you don't have something in place like that is if you guys got together really young, you guys both didn't have nothing, and y'all grew together. So it wasn't nothing to put a prenup on, and that's many of our relationships where we may have grew together. So our finances grew together. But some people, that's not the case. They find themselves with one another after they've already built, their own empire, and then they try to kind of join forces with someone. So you have to be smart. If you don't even know or can't figure it out yourself, if you got enough money to be thinking about whether or not you should protect it or not, then you probably got a few dollars to be able to go pay somebody to consult with, to learn how the best way to handle your financial affairs. That's going to be your best bet, and even with, sometimes they say those prenups, can be broken. We know Jeannie Mai and Jeezy, their prenup was challenged and things like that. And, everything's finalized now. I think it's the paper, everything is closed. So we don't really know the details, but there was a prenup, but Jeannie Mai still had, she was still trying to go around it. I think it's best for you to have a prenup in place and somebody try to jailbreak it versus you not having one at all. I'm pretty sure Jeezy still came out a lot better by having one in place than if he didn't have one at all. You just got to think smart. Go hire somebody smarter than you if you don't know. But they say you better ask somebody. You better ask somebody. It's cheaper to go and phone a friend than to be trying to figure it all out by yourself. And you out here not having a clue what the hell you doing, and you taking a big L, a financial L. So yes, I think that lady from that Bachelorette show, his name is Lindsay. But beautiful young lady. But listen, she thought what she had was real, child. When I seen that he filed right after she had released that children's book about interracial marriage, and I said, hell, what? Like, I knew that this man had already known all along he was planning his exit, because child, like he slid them papers over to her before the new year rolled in. He was like, listen, child, come in. We got something to talk about. We not finna roll into 2024 like this. So I'm finna let you know right now that this ain't working. Like, I think he told her before coming into the new year. So at the top of the year, that was when I was learning about her being devastated about, the ending of her marriage and her husband asking for a divorce. And y'all know it's big when the man asking for a divorce, because that's not normally the way it works. Typically, most in 80% of divorces are filed by the woman. Women file divorces. Men, child, they'll just stick around, do their thing outside, and they just stick around for whatever their reason. It's like, hell, it's cheaper to keep. They just stick around. They just don't. It's just harder for a man to just say, you know what, I'm leaving. Because actually, Jeezy is the one who filed the divorce against Jeannie Mai. He's like, yo, I'm leaving. So it does happen, but it's not as common as when the woman says, I'm leaving. So I think when the man leaves, I think it has people really wondering, like, what the hell happened that he trying to leave her, because you don't really see that very often. So you really become curious as to what happened. Some may even question, like, well, hell, what's wrong with her that he running for her? Because that's normally not the way it goes down. But it does happen. Jeezy filed against Jeannie Mai, and Lindsay, the black young lady from The Bachelorette, her husband filed against her. So it is what it is. So she's working through that, and hopefully it's and then here's the thing, she's an attorney, so you would think her of all people would have been up on game dealing with the prenup, right? Because like she's in law. She probably, I would imagine, I don't know what type of attorney she was, but a lot of times, if you're an attorney, you got friends or people who who are attorneys in different types of fields. You can't tell me she didn't have one friend, somebody to talk to about whether or not she should get a prenup or not, who deal with maybe family matters and things like that. It's unfortunate, but it just goes to show that she was just so, I don't know if you call it in love or delusional. I don't know what you call it, but for her to have let it go down like that. But let's just hope that next time around, sis will do better and she'll have her paperwork in order. Let's just hope she's going to have all her paperwork. Her paperwork game is going to be on point. As they say, we live and we learn. It's life. And before I get out here, I'll drop the link just in case if anybody do want to come up and comment on the matter pertaining to Nelly, Nelly and Ashanti, and his arrest, or your thoughts pertaining to their relationship. Like, were you here for it from the beginning, or were you like, nah, he ain't the one, because I ain't forgot when he did this, that, and the third, and I didn't like how he did Miss Jackson? Or, what are your thoughts on that? Because I've just heard so many different thoughts on it. And some people are going hard on him. Like I said, even as going as far as to call him a dusty. I'm not there as of today on this live, but I do feel like he can be moving a whole lot better than what he is and what he has as of late. And it's not a good look. It's an embarrassment. And now he has to think about somebody beyond himself. Nelly, too, to me, gives me someone who can be kind of selfish sometimes, who only kind of think about himself when it comes to certain things. Say in a relationship, because maybe he knows, he's a handsome guy. There's women who always want to be with him at any given time and talk to him. So he don't feel like he has to kind of put forth that extra energy to kind of give you what it is that you may feel like you need in a relationship. I don't know. I just get that from him. And if that is the case, he's going to have to adjust that, because now he's someone's husband. So when you are married, you represent your spouse. So whenever he goes out, he is a representation of Ashanti being his wife, just as she's a representation of him being with him being her husband. So that's how it works. You're literally, when they say, when you marry, you cleave, you become one, like that is a real thing. You represent one another. And a lot of times when we don't have that mindset to think that way, that's when things go left, because you don't even have the right mindset to begin with, child. Like, your mindset has to be, we are one. I have to be respectful to this person and their feelings. I can't just be about myself or focus on how I feel. And no, sometimes, marriage, it's not expected for you all to have it all together when you first get together, but the expectation is for you all to want to work together, to try to play well together, to respect one another's feelings, and to communicate with one another, to acknowledge one another's feelings, and not be, selfish, because marriage is a selfless type thing. Like, within a marriage, you have to be selfless, meaning sometimes you're doing things that you may not always really want to do. It's like, I'd rather not go there, but he want to go or she want to go, so I'm gonna go. Or I really don't want to eat that, but they want to eat that because we ate what I want to eat yesterday. You see, it's literally like a give and take. And I think a lot of people don't really understand that, because they never really seen it or experienced it. So as soon as they get with someone and they start experiencing some things where they're playing tug of war with wanting things their way and not wanting to bend or budge for the other person, that's where the problems come in. And then you see these divorces, quickly within the first maybe 4 years of marriage, because they don't have that understanding that marriage is a selfless, it's very selfless. You can't be married for years on end and just be selfish. And if you are, that other person has just chosen to just basically be like a doormat and allow you to step on them, because a person with any type of self-esteem about them is not going to allow someone to just step over them and just completely dismiss their feelings, thoughts, and all of that. They're going to let you know. And if you don't respect that, then that's when, the divorce come into play. So people got the idea of marriage so twisted. I hear it all over the internet, and it just lets me know that these are people who've never experienced it, and a good portion of them never witnessed it or never witnessed what a healthy marriage looks like. Um, Laura says, I think the happy wife, happy life thinking is so damaging. Yes, I don't believe in that at all, because I see I see other relationships and, in my life, where the husband gives in, the wife still ain't happy and he ain't happy either, So I don't believe in that either. I think it's a selfish way of thinking. I think that, as I say, it's a selfless, type thing, to where both parties have to be willing to budge, to bend. Communication is key, to compromise. And I think those are the more healthier relationships, when the two individuals understand that, when they understand, okay, it's not going to always be their way, and that sometimes you got to give in and let the other person have their way, and you just kind of rotate it. It's a balance. I always say a relationship is a balancing act. It's a balance. It's not going to always, like, some moments you're going to feel like, okay, the person, it's like it's tilting, to where it's like they're winning and they're getting everything. And then sometimes it's going to be it's a season where you get those things that you're wanting. It's a balancing act. And when you are, when two people come together and they want to take care of each other, that's what happens. You naturally want to show up for one another and spoil one another. So it will be a season where one partner seems to be winning and getting more, than the other partner. But guess what? The seasons change. And then now it's going to be that other partner that was looking like they were winning now pouring into the other partner. So, it's seasons, it's balance, it's fluid. And that's what anyone who's been in a relationship for a long length of time, I'd say, to anyone who's been in a relationship 10 plus years, you understand you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anybody else is like, huh? There's so many people who ain't never stayed with nobody, maybe past as long as they had a baby with that person. And once that child was maybe barely into this world, they wasn't even with him no more. So some people can't relate to what I'm talking about. But what I'm talking about is real. Talk to people who really put a lot of years into their relationship. When I say a lot, 10, 15, 20, those people. Talk to those people, because those people will give you the tea on what it's really like. They will let you know. They will definitely let you know. So just make sure that you're talking to the right people. Pay attention to the messenger, because we got a lot of people out here just talking like, oh, they just no, and they ain't got a clue. They ain't got a clue. They single as a dollar bill. They do not have a clue, but you can't tell them that they don't know that women are trash or men are trash. So it makes a difference as to who you're listening to, who the message is coming from. Ashanti and Nelly, very much so, they can benefit probably. I wonder if they went through any type of premarital counseling or any counseling. I feel like they're a couple that can probably benefit from that. I think they can benefit from that. So anything, I'm all about trying anything before divorce. Like, you want to just make sure that you can honestly say that you put your best foot forward, you gave it your all, and it just didn't work. Because guess what? Sometimes it doesn't work. But you want to be able to say that you tried. You don't want to throw in a towel later down the line and be like, man, I guess I could have went to counseling. I guess I could have done this. You really don't want to be that person. You want to make sure that when you choose to exit, you can have your head held high and okay, I did the best I could to make that situation work. And it just wasn't, it wasn't working. I couldn't do it by myself. And it's okay. It happens. It happens, but just be able to say that you tried. That's all I tell anyone as a married woman, is just be able to say you tried. Because if you can, you'll sleep well at night, because you know in your heart if you gave it your all versus you didn't. So Nelly need to sit down somewhere. I think that, it's time to him just stay in the house, let his, attorney work out whatever he got going on. But in the meantime, if he not working, I think he need to be around the house with Ashanti and bonding with his new wife and new baby. I think that's gonna be the best bet because who you hear about getting in trouble when they at home. You only in trouble when you outside. What they have a saying down here in the South. I had never heard it coming from California, but when I moved to the South, they say ain't nothing open after 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock a.m. meaning there's nothing open after 12 o'clock but legs and Waffle House. So when I heard that it was like four something in the morning, it was like 4:45 or something in the morning when Nelly got arrested. I'm like, child, Lord, ain't nothing open but legs and Waffle House, because like, what are you doing outside during that time? Why aren't you home? That's the question. Why aren't you home? Is your wife up waiting on you, wondering where you at? Like, why are you there versus here? I'm wondering if Ashanti and Nelly have a home in Missouri, in Missouri, because I think she's from New York or something. So I wonder, someone recently told me that he bought her a new house. So I'm wondering, like, do they share a home together in Missouri now? I never heard anything about like where they reside. Let me see if I can find, but someone said they had heard that he bought her a really nice house. Let me see if I can find something. Is the new house? Yeah, because I hadn't heard that one. Let me see. Let me see what I can find. If he bought out here buying houses. Because when he got arrested, I'm like, okay, where is their home together? Because it was in Missouri, and I know he's from there. Breaking news: Nelly bought a house for Ashanti. Okay, I'm gonna share this video that I came across just now, found as it's talking about Nelly. Nelly bought Ashanti a house. So let me see. Nelly bought Ashanti a new house. Let me see if I can bring that up. This was from March 21st. Let me see if this video was uploaded. If this video uploaded. Hey. Okay, so I'm going to share this video. We'll see what it says with you all about the purchase of this new house that he's supposed to have bought her. So let's see what they saying. Please like, share, subscribe as you come on in. Thank you for joining us tonight on this Friday. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it Friday. So let's get into this video. What they saying, break in. Nelly bought a new house for Ashanti today in preparation. So let's see.
Everyone, welcome back to our channel. We have something incredible to share with you all today. Ashanti, yes, you won't believe what just happened. Nelly surprised me with the most amazing gift ever. Nelly, that's right. As you all know, we're expecting our baby girl soon, and I wanted to do something extra special for Ashanti. Ashanti, Nelly, you're always full of surprises. Tell them what you did. Nelly, well, my love, I bought us a new house, a place where we can create beautiful memories as a family. Nelly, absolutely. I knew how much you wanted a perfect home for our little princess. So, I went house hunting, and I found a gem. Ashanti, oh my goodness. I can't wait to see it. When did this happen? Nelly, it's been in the works for a while now. I wanted to keep it a secret until everything was finalized. Ashanti, you're amazing, Nelly. I can't believe you did this for us. Nelly, you deserve the world, Ashanti, and I want our baby girl to have the best start in life. Ashanti, this anticipation is killing me. Is it nearby? Nelly, just a few more minutes, my love. We're almost there. Nelly, here we are, our new home. Ashanti, oh, my goodness. It's stunning. Nelly, I wanted it to be perfect for our family, so I made sure it had all the features we've always dreamed of. Ashanti, look at this beautiful nursery. It's so adorable. Nelly, I know how much you love flowers, so I made sure to have a garden just for you. Ashanti, Nelly, this is beyond anything I could have imagined. Thank you. Nelly, it's my pleasure, Ashanti. I wanted our new home to be a place where we can grow and flourish as a family. Over the next few weeks, Nelly and Ashanti made their new house a home. They painted the wall.
So if that's the house, that's a beautiful house that it's showing that picture of. Let me look in. Yeah, I hadn't heard that he had bought her a house, but I mean, that's good. I mean, he bought them a house. So he, listen, child, he definitely got to do better out here. By Ashanti. I think he need to just stay in the house. Like he doing a lot. It's okay. You know, you can stay in the house. You don't have to always be outside. Now I'm wondering if maybe if you all seen any footage where she had the baby shower, her second baby shower. Nelly did a surprise baby shower for her, but then they had a second baby shower that he wasn't present at. And it was at, like, you can see it was like at a beautiful house, a long driveway. So now I'm wondering if her baby shower was at her new home, because looking at that video we just watched with that house, it looked like it could be that same house where she was, you know, having hosting and dancing and having a good time at for her baby shower. So that's awesome if he did buy her a brand new house. But bruh, we still gonna need you to do better by her. You know, now you have a whole wife out here and a new baby, so you just got to do right by her. Um, Period. You just got to do right by her. She's your wife now. She's no longer your girlfriend. So it's no more excuses. 50 years old as well. Like sometimes, you know, you get to a point to where you have to grow up and no longer partake in the things that you normally do, because now it's like, you know, you mature, you grown, you 50, like he grown as hell. He's 50 years old now. So it's it's time to grow up. It's time to do better. And I feel like she deserves it. You found her to be valuable enough to become your wife. And that's not, you know, most men don't take it lightly when they make the decision to make someone their wife. That's what they say. The man does the choosing. You know, the woman accepts and the man chooses. He chose Ashanti. So that speaks to how he views her as a woman. So take care of her, appreciate her, so you won't be running around here one day living in regret and you suddenly stuck having to pay child support, y'all. Who wants that? Who wants that? So Laura says, I think the happy wife, happy life is damaging. And she said, have a good night. Gotta run. Thank you, Laura. So that's all I had where I wanted to cover for Nelly and Ashanti. Definitely later, you know, drop a comment on this video, or anyone who catches the replay, who's part of the replay game. Let me know what your thoughts are pertaining to their relationship. Do you think she chose right or nah? Right now, I'm going with no. I'm going with no, but at the same time, I think if she were to have done better, it would have to have been in her younger years, not at this point in her life. I don't think at this point in her life, if she were to have married someone, they would have financially been on the level of Nelly, just because she's, you know, older. Yeah, just because she has age on her side. I just don't think that she would have kind of met someone who was willing to marry her and give her a family and all of that. Of his status as far as money wise. But I do feel like she could, you know, hook up with someone that's from a character standpoint who has good character, regardless of what her age. But it's the finance part. Like, you know, a lot of ladies are looking at that bank account. Like, what is he working with his funds? You know, what does that bag look like? And for women, I believe, or what I've come to see, is that the younger they are, the more likely they're able to secure that bag. So the younger you are, the bigger the bag. You know, the older you are, you know, the smaller it may be. So you got to kind of factor that into play. And ladies, just don't be out here wasting your youth, your beauty with some bums. Know your worth, know your value, understand and recognize when it's time to move around. It is okay. If it's time to move around, it's okay. Cut your losses. We're not about wasting time. If any of you are familiar with my content, in the morning times, I go live, I work out, I focus on, you know, taking care of my body, the importance of body, you know, the aesthetics of, you know, working to get to the aesthetics you want in a natural way, because that tends to have a impact on our self-esteem. What they say, when you look good, you feel good, and it definitely makes a difference. And fortunately, Ashanti has been someone who's taking care of herself going into her 40s, so that's good for her. But a lot of women haven't. You know, a lot of women don't have bodies that, look like Ashanti's or even fit bodies. They've let themselves go. They've had kids, or some of them bodies look like they had kids and they never even had kids. So we have to be out here taking care of ourselves because we want to put our best foot forward, right? You want to find a man that got all the bells and whistles that you want him to have. Okay, well, take into an account what a man may want in a woman. So would he want a woman who looks like she actually cares about what she looks like, cares about her health? Just as, you ask yourself, do you want a man who cares about what he looks like and cares about his health? Same thing, it's give and take. We can't be selfish out here. We can't be about self. So get into yourself, take care of yourself, show up into the world as you want the world to show up before you. That's what I like to say when I talk to my subscribers, when I do my workouts in the morning. I just encourage you all to put your best foot forward, not some of the time, but all of the time. Your body will thank you for it, and your self-esteem will definitely be increased when you do that. Start loving on yourself. And that's what I hope our good sis Ashanti, I hope that she's somewhere loving on herself, recognizing her worth and her value. So I'm Chic from Chic Speaks. If you want to show me any type of love, you can hit the super chat. My cash app is $speak50. And make sure you have your notification bell set so you know when I go live, and I will catch you on the next broadcast. Peace.